Time now for this week's Health Matters with PA Lynn Szabo, and we're jumping back onto the COVID train this week.
A little bit. COVID aftermath.
COVID aftermath.
The COVID caboose.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was interesting, actually.
So. PA Lynn Szabo, Mike Thornton also along for the ride, and Paul Kurtz here. We've got... So yeah, I don't know what to make of this. What do we do with this? This is a...
It's more of an interesting factoid that has a little bit of medical knowledge behind it. But if it's happening to you, it's a deal.
Yeah, bad hair day is a bad hair day. Yeah, okay, so...
Hair loss. Hair loss is a deal. Yeah, and how it relates to COVID.
This is important. I've been told by my wife that really the only thing that could jeopardize our marriage was hair loss. And she asked before we even got married, do you have male pattern baldness in your family? Nope. Okay, good.
You're good.
Well, that's why they got tubes.
Yeah.
So what I'm actually seeing in clinic is people coming in with hair loss now.
You're seeing this, right?
I'm seeing this in clinic. So it is a real Del Norte phenomenon.
Okay. Yeah. What's happening?
So a little bit of backstory, 3 stages for human hair growth. Okay. So there's an anagen phase, which lasts about 3 to 5 years, and that's when hair is actively growing. And we're talking about hair on top of the head, by the way.
Okay.
So at any one time, 85% to 90% of hair on top of the head is in this phase, so actively growing phase.
Okay. So it's not like your whole head does this all at once, right? Your hair is cycling through this. Okay, yeah, okay.
So then the next phase is the Cartogen Phase, and it's a transition time. It lasts about 2 weeks, and at any one time, 1% of the hair on your head is going through this. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then... what happens in this phase is the hair strand's actually cut off from active support.
The what?
The hair strand is cut off from active support.
What's that mean?
Through the hair follicle. So what happens is when your hair is actively growing, it's getting nutrients through the hair follicle so that it can grow. Mm-hmm. And at this transition stage, what happens is...
That shuts off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the door's closed and no more nutrients get passed over.
Okay. What are we transitioning into in the transition phase?
The telogen phase.
Oh, see.
So that's a resting or a shedding phase. So the hair at this point is kind of detached from the anchor point or detached from the hair follicle, and it's just hanging around till it, falls out into your food. Wherever. So,
what phase is that?
That is the telogen phase.
What phase is Mike?
Yeah, no, I was gonna make a comment, but not everybody follows this pattern apparently. Anyway, 10 to 15% of hair that is normally in this getting ready to fall out, so shedding phase. So, what happened? There's something called.
I love this word.
Telogen Effluvium.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So this is an example in medicine of where you have a big fancy pseudo-Latin word that explains a phenomenon that we're all really familiar with. So this is the noticeable or excessive loss of hair triggered by things like fever, illness, or viral infection, say COVID.
Okay.
And this is why this is in the medical news right now, because it became apparent that people watching these kind of things noted an increase in Google searches about 2 to 3 months after each of the waves. So the initial wave Alpha, the second wave Delta, and the third wave Omicron, where people 2 to 3 months after the wave started, people were Googling in higher numbers hair loss and COVID.
Oh, wow. And that
so then scientists went, huh?
So if you needed any more proof that your activity online was being monitored,
totally.
There's that.
That's the chip. That's
right.
Part of the chip thing. Anyway, so hair loss happens very commonly with COVID. It is more apparent in women, I think, because they pay more attention to their hair. And what I should tell people is that it's reversible.
Okay.
And your hair will go back to normal in about 6 to 9 months. So like I mentioned, I've seen this in clinic. I almost always work it up with looking for thyroid problems. And I almost recommend 2 over-the-counter things, biotin and, I'm spacing on the name, but it's an over-the-counter hair growth, minoxidil, that's was used commonly for blood pressure, but now in a topical form is used for hair loss.
Oh, wow.
But you don't really need to do that because neither of those things really make any meaningful change. In this particular circumstance, the hair loss will resolve in 6 to 9 months.
Okay, so I just wanted to clarify when you said you wrote here in the notes that it's reversible. It's not reversible through anything that you need to do. You just
No,
need to,
you
like-
don't need to do anything except try not to freak out and be patient. Maybe I would say rule out thyroid disease or something because there's other things that cause hair loss.
Okay.
But if you've had COVID and you know about 2 to 3 months from your illness that hair starts coming out kind of a lot in 1 to 200 strands a day, that's a lot.
Okay.
That's enough to notice in
Okay.
your hairbrush. Then that's okay. It's a kind of a common response to an illness and a time of stress, and it will resolve with time without you doing anything.
Okay.
Okay?
Right.
So you don't really have to spend any money. But what would be the most logical way to prevent this from even happening, even temporarily?
Wear a hat? No, I'm not.
No, wear a
Let's
hat.
see.
Not getting COVID.
There would
Not,
be. Let's see.
So how could you do that? Step backwards.
Yeah, step backwards at least 6 steps.
You could get vaccinated.
Oh, right,
And if you needed to boosted, there's still a ton of people out there not boosted. Okay.
That's what we're doing with our messaging and outreach here is trying to focus on the boosting now.
So
Right.
to be somewhat devil's advocate here, though, people.
Said the bald guy.
But I'm bald on purpose.
You are bald. It's a hairdo.
Yeah. But some people still get COVID even though they've been vaccinated.
They do, but and they could still have hair loss secondary to the illness, but their illness is not usually as severe. So the hair loss is usually associated with more severe illness, and they might not be as stressed out by it because they know vaccinating really lowers their chance of getting severe disease or death. So, yeah,
Wow.
get vaccinated. So I tied that in.
That's
Perfectly.
that's very good.
Wow, it's almost like you're a health professional.
I
Oh, wow. And a radio host.
Yes,
too.
right, yes, and increasingly a radio personality.
Oh, brother. Anyway, and I would like to remind you that you can come in anytime that UHS is open and they have vaccines available for you.
Does
So
that
you don't have to be a patient.
There have been, and we're talking about, of course, if anybody's listening to this subsequent to our recording it, which everybody who listens to it will be. But if you're out of the area, you're talking about UIHS, United Indian Health Services in
Crescent City.
not all of Del Norte County, but just specifically the Crescent City. Okay, so our Redwood Voice team has been updating what I think they found. I thought that. I'm trying to remember this correctly, but it was that Grant had found, one of our youth reporters, fact-checking stuff, had found that UIHS in Crescent City was by appointment only. That's what I think he
That's
found.
not what they tell us every morning when we have an initial huddle meeting.
Okay, we'll
They
have
tell
to.
us to get people in there to get
And
immunized.
on a drop-in basis, that's
On
fine.
a
You can
drop-in
stop in.
basis while they're open, which is Monday through Friday, lunch hour excluded.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll-
Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
We'll double check that, and I'm not sure if this is what happened in this instance, but I know that trying to sort of round up all the information, all the vaccination information in Del Norte County, it really is, piecemeal and sort of spread all over the place, and also
Right.
depends on who you get on the phone when you call and check
I was going to
things too.
suggest that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But UIHS on Northcrest here in Crescent City is you can just drop in during the week, except for lunch hours, and
Yeah.
then be vaccinated. Okay.
I should probably ask to speak to one of the nurses.
Well,
I
that's-
figured it wasn't a self-serve sort of situation.
they just have syringes full of.
Here you go, help
vaccine.
yourself.
Yeah, but I was going to say, because when I went there to get a booster, initially I was told that I needed to make an appointment and come back on
Right.
a Wednesday.
And this
but
was the
then-
UIHS here?
Yes,
Okay.
it was.
And procedure changed about a week later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's also another
yeah.
factor.
And
Yeah.
then what did you do? I heard you drop my name.
I did. I said I happen to know somebody who said I should be here, and I dare not refuse.
Yeah.
And so then
That got you in?
that got me in.
See?
So
That's
if
the takeaway.
anybody shows up there wants an immunization, if
It's
it looks like-
SZABO.
Say Lynn. Lynn sent me.
AKA COVID warrior.
Hey, COVID Warrior Princess. Hey, where? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
The can we just sort of outline too, just sort of basic I think this might be helpful, the rubric for boosters and timelines and such, because I mean a lot of folks are vaccinated. I think I'm coming up on needing a booster shot again because it's been a good 6 months, I believe.
So it's been you have how many? 3?
What? Yes,
How many
3
shots?
jabs
You have
total.
3 shots.
Yeah.
I think your next booster is going to be in, I would say in the fall, unless you have some.
How long is the booster good for?
comorbidity. So, there's a lot that depends. This is a real sliding scale.
Okay.
And a lot depends on somebody's individual medical history and their risk factors. So I can say I got the 4th shot partially because of what I do, partially because I have type 2 diabetes. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I don't know of anything in your history. I'm not really asking, but your average, let's assume your average healthy guy, then you don't need a 4th shot until fall.
So like a year?
Yeah.
Am I thinking of it more of a year or as a seasonal thing at this point?
Seasonal. It'll jump into seasonal.
Okay, as we move into the endemic,
Right.
it'll become like the flu shot,
Right.
the flu immunization. Okay.
So somebody who has an immunodeficiency history, or let's say an autoimmune disorder and is on immunomodulating drugs, they probably should get the 4th shot early.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I don't want to out anybody, but yeah.
And that may also apply to my wife as well.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So the first thing, if you look at J&J, boosters do immediately. Although weirdly, more people who die of COVID being immunized are in the J&J category. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, because J&J doesn't last
It's kind
near
of
as
like
much.
an also-ran.
Yeah.
And a lot of
Sucks.
people never saw the need for the 2nd shot, and they still don't really know about it. So if you need to get, if you got immunized with 1 shot with Johnson & Johnson, then you're way overdue for a booster, and the standard recommendation would be to switch to a messenger RNA. So messenger RNAs, what they're saying now is that you should get your initial, let's say your initial shot, which doesn't apply to anybody here because we've all had initial shots. The 2nd shot, as long as you don't have any risk or there isn't a high level in the community, is no longer like 21 days to 28 days. They're kind of recommending more like 6 to 8 weeks.
Really?
And that comes from Europe because they did that initially. Their theory was to get everybody on board with at least 1 shot, and that when they would get around to it, you could have your 2nd shot. So there was more of a delay than what we had in the United States, and they got better immune responses and more durable immune responses.
Wow.
So
Almost like that 2nd shot is kind of a booster light, sort of, like it's...
yeah,
it's
kind of.
Yeah.
Like it gives your immune system more time to think about it.
Okay.
So, but in the United States, we did initial shot, 2nd shot, 21 days to 28 days out for the messenger RNA vaccines, which are Pfizer and Moderna. And then the 3rd shot is about 6 months out from the 2nd.
Right.
Right. And so that assumes pretty Joe average normal person.
Sure.
Not on any meds that would, make their, like a chronic steroid user or something.
So after that initial 6-month booster, then you're into a more
We're all
endemic...
going to drop into line with 4th shot for the Joe average, 4th shot in the fall.
Okay, unless you have some sort of comorbidity that would...
Right, or you're on a medicine or something.
Okay.
Something's weird. Now, there's like 8 specific things, and then number 9 is always, or if your doctor thinks so. So, and a lot of people kind of fell in that category. They just either sought it out or their doctor encouraged them just in general. So it was interesting this week for the first time in 2 years, I guess. Yeah. Both my kids came to visit, and one came from New York and flew to San Francisco, and then they hopped on a Greyhound bus and rode up here, and they're very good about masking and all of that still. Right.
It's not like it's not over for them because they live in cities and have to deal with a lot of stuff in their face every day.
it's not over for us either.
No, but we are in a dip right now, at least with the numbers it looks like. But it was just refreshing to have that happen. And just to have people coming from afar and to not have to worry about it so much. So I just wanted to make sure that that I was boosted well enough.
That's
now.
good. And I think I heard your New York child decided, or young adult decided, that she wanted to make sure there was testing available.
Yeah, Yeah.
So that was on our radar, which was super.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if she
testings.
ever availed herself of any here, but yeah. But she was asking.
That was good. It was a good thought.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you're coming to one of the counties with one of the lowest vaccination rates,
That's also
inquiring about testing is
Maybe she did her testing when she got back to
pretty
New York.
smart. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure she will. I'm sure she will. Let's see. We just this week too. We had a turnover of. Is it a turnover of testing company? Do you know anything about this here?
No, I don't.
Okay, and they were outlining where you could go get tested. We have it looks like standalone testing sites here in Del Norte, like 3 days a week in Crescent City.
Oh, that's cool. I wonder how much traffic they get.
I don't know.
What their numbers are.
I
do
think
know-
they've been doing- I'm sorry.
Oh, UHS right now for people who are coming, what we call through the tent. So that's that little tent on the Crescent City Clinic. They're being offered free testing because we got a ton of it from the government, I think the feds, and they're just trying to make sure that it gets to anybody that could possibly need it.
Yeah, and how does that with the tests like that? I mean, how does that work? I mean, it's not a rapid test. It's not the PCR sort of thing. How long does it usually take to get results?
This is a rapid test.
Is it a rapid
It's
test?
10 minutes.
Oh, wow. I had no idea that testing that.
It's more like a screening test.
And these are the tests that came in the mail. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
Same idea.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
They're exactly the tests.
I see. I hadn't even. Whoa, fun! I'm going to go take one then when we're done,
Right.
because we've got to. That's another thing is that.
Want to just see how it works?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kinda
exactly.
interesting.
I'm pregnant. Oh no. But yeah, it's also like any flat space I look around. It seems recently there's a COVID test sitting on it. It finally got to everybody. It seems like.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of them lining the hallways of the clinic.
Oh, wow,
So
okay.
they are giving them away to people that have shown up to get tested.
Okay.
So, and it's usually young families with kids. So, but right now the predominant virus is kind of influenza, and it's kind of on the downhill slide. There's another one that's coming in that makes you lose your voice. That's not an influenza, but it's not COVID. It's just annoying.
Wow. Okay.
And then there's a little bit of strep, the background strep.
The ever-present background strep. Yeah.
I would suggest if you do the screening test that you take the first sample from the back of your throat and then go for the nose.
You mean through the mouth?
Yeah. I
Okay.
would take the first swirl I would do. So there's essentially 2 swirls each nostril.
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay. Yeah.
I would do one in the back of the throat first and then go for the nostril, and then because especially with Omicron you can get better data from the back of the throat.
Oh, okay. 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 Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, that was kind of short and sweet.
Yep.
Thank you so very much. Mike, you got anything?
I don't.
All right. Lynn Szabo, PA, Health Matters. We'll do this again next week. Thank you so very much.
Holy mother of God, he's flatlining. You killed him.
Dude, you missed the 3rd home run and you killed him.
Where are those little heart paddle things that George Clooney uses?
Not those! Dude, let's just bail.
Give me these things. You're gonna kill him. Clear.
It looks like you're overdue for your dose of Health Matters, a show about all matters of health, right from the mouth of local PA Lynn Szabo into the receptive ears of the KFUG crew, packaged neatly for any listener hoping to stay informed in the wide, wild world of health, diseases and medicines, new developments, and the unforeseen impacts of both. All that and much, much more on Health Matters. On the air Sundays at 12:30 p.m. and Tuesdays at 11 a.m., with episodes produced and published on our YouTube channel. For all your health matters, it's Health Matters, only on 101.1 FM on your radio dial and streaming worldwide on kfugradio.org.
Damn it, man, I'm trying to save an innocent life.